Behind Suzanne Somers' glamorous facade lies a deeply troubled history intertwining continuous misfortunes alongside a life-threatening confrontation against cancer. While capturing the hearts of billions with her comedic prowess and her on-screen charm, she navigated a world of personal challenges, with one almost claiming her life. Join us as we venture into hidden depths of Suzanne Somers' life story, followed by rare photos of the star herself. Suzanne Somers, born Susan Mary Mahoney on October 16, 1946 in San Bruno, California, is the third of 4 children born and raised in an Irish-American Catholic family. Her mother, Marian Elizabeth, was a medical secretary and a homemaker, while her father, Francis Mahoney, worked as a laborer, train loader, and gardener. Because these were low-paying jobs at the time, the Mahoney household faced financial and emotional turbulence frequently. Her father spiraled into alcoholism. Her father's alcoholic habit grew abusive. Young Susan and her siblings usually found themselves at the receiving end of their father's abuses, including calling them mean names, public embarrassment, and physical abuse. This, in turn, painted dark hues in Susan's childhood, as she grew up scared for her life every day. This fear heightened when she was diagnosed with dyslexia, making her a dull student. Later in life, she would undergo therapy to overcome the problems of her dysfunctional childhood. Despite the hurdles at home, Somers' artistic side couldn't help but surface. She dabbled in cheerleading during her years in high school and pursued higher education at a San Francisco Music College for Women, where she won a scholarship. Unfortunately, she dropped out just 6 months after falling pregnant in 1965 with then-boyfriend Bruce Somers. At just 19, she married Bruce Somers, which led to her changing her name from Susan Mahoney to Susan Somers, and in November 1965, her son and only child, Bruce, was born. Susan's marriage was clouded by young love, but with a child, the responsibilities of parenthood coupled with financial difficulties soon eclipsed their union. An entanglement with her old drama teacher only intensified the strains, and once Bruce Sr. discovered the affair, their marriage was painfully dissolved when their son, Bruce Jr., was only a toddler. This left her with nowhere to go, as she had long deserted her family because of their struggles with alcoholism. The divorce, while emotionally draining, became a pivot for Somers. As a single mother, she picked up modeling in San Francisco, which became her means of financial support. Susan Somers grappled with financial hardships. Desperate, she penned rent checks before her account had the necessary funds, which led to her arrest. The media pounced on this, showcasing her arrest and accompanying mugshot. Seeking to set the record straight, Susan approached esteemed journalist Vernon Scott, sharing her perspective. When her story went public, the tide of sympathy swayed in her favor. Yet, life threw another curveball in 1971 when 6-year-old Bruce Jr. got involved in a severe car crash and was given a 50-50 chance to live. The woman who hit him had no insurance. Somers had no child support or insurance and no support from the father. One of the photographers Somers was working with, Stan Malinowski, who worked for Playboy, told Somers that she could get $15,000 if she posed for the publication and was chosen Playmate of the Month. Thinking that the sum of money would be enough to get the debts off her back, Somers gave it a shot, but she only did a test photo shoot. Somers then said that she didn't want the nude images released as she was worried about what her son would think of her if he saw them. Although Bruce Jr. later pulled through his injuries, he had constant nightmares. To help him cope, Susan sought counseling at a local health center, where they were charged just $1 per session. In 1968, she became a prize model on a game show, where she met Alan Hamel, her future husband, who at the time was married to another woman. The two began having an affair, which led to Susan getting pregnant. Due to the pregnancy's circumstances, they concluded that Susan would have an abortion. After going in for the abortion, she suffered severe bleeding for several days. Hamel and Somers moved in together shortly after and married in 1977, and she turned her eyes to Hollywood. The late 1960s and early 1970s saw Somers slowly climb the Hollywood ladder with minor roles in movies and TV series. Her big break came with the film American Graffiti, where she played the mysterious blonde in The Thunderbird. It was a brief role, but it caught attention. She went on to play Chrissy Snow on the hit sitcom Three's Company and the Carol Foster Lambert on Step by Step, and a memorable cameo in John Waters' Serial Mom in 1994. Her portrayal of Chrissy Snow on the ABC sitcom Three's Company catapulted her into the limelight. The character became an instant favorite, but with success came challenges. In late 1980, at the start of Three's Company's 5th season, Susan Somers shocked producers with a demand for a pay raise from $30,000 per episode to $150,000, alongside a 10% stake in the show's profits. The show's producers were unhappy with this development and refused. In retaliation, Somers skipped the 2nd and 4th episodes, attributing her absence to reasons like a broken rib. However, she fulfilled the rest of the season's contract, though her on-screen presence was whittled down to mere 60-second cameo appearances, with her character calling in from her parents' home. After the season concluded, she filed a $2 million lawsuit, claiming her reputation had been tarnished. The arbitrator, however, awarded her only $30,000, corresponding to a single unpaid episode. Subsequent legal outcomes favored ABC and the show's producers. Somers contended her firing stemmed from her desire for pay equity with leading male TV stars of the era like Alan Alda and Carol O'Connor. Somers appeared on The Tonight Show that same year, saying she'd only posed topless once, excluding the Playboy shoot. When Playboy learned of this confession, they sought to change the narrative. After 10 years, in February 1980, Playboy decided to publish the decade-old photos of Somers. This revelation adversely affected Somers' career, ending her various contracts. Despite the photos being from her past, they suddenly overshadowed her present. Recounting the episode, Somers shared she felt betrayed by Playboy. Later, she filed a lawsuit against Playboy and won $50,000, an amount she donated the entire amount to charity. Somers then moved on to Las Vegas and began a new career as an entertainer and the face of the successful Thigh Master infomercial. As its brand ambassador, she contributed to selling more than 10 million units. Surprisingly, Playboy approached her for another collaboration. After discussing the proposal with her husband, who was her manager, Somers agreed to work with Playboy again, but this time on her terms. They embarked on a 4-day shoot in Hawaii, and Playboy released the tasteful images in the December 1984 Playboy edition. Branching out from acting, Somers delved into writing, authoring self-help books, diet guides, autobiographies, and even poetry. But her health advocacy became a defining chapter of her later years when, in 2000, Somers faced her most significant challenge yet, breast cancer. She was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer in April 2000 and had a lumpectomy to remove the tumor, followed by radiation therapy. Instead of the conventional treatment route, she chose alternative methods to further her treatment. Her advocacy for bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, specifically the Wiley protocol, drew both support and criticism, with some labeling it scientifically unproven and dangerous. But Somers wasn't one to back down. She shared her health journey, including her controversial choices, with the world. Her book, Ageless: The Naked Truth About Bioidentical Hormones, became a beacon for many seeking alternative treatments. While the American Center Society criticized her, many saw her as an icon of patient autonomy. When she thought she had moved past the tragedies, it struck again in January 2007, when a wildfire in Southern California destroyed Somers' Malibu home, a home she had spent years building, losing all her belongings in an instant. Determined not to let this shake her, she rebuilt the mansion on the same site, bigger and better. Amidst controversies, Somers continued to thrive professionally. From her brave Playboy pictorials to her Broadway debut, she showcased her versatility. Despite the Broadway show's early cancellations, Somers remained undeterred, later hosting The Susan Show on Lifetime Network and even taking a spin on Dancing with the Stars. She is still happily married to her husband of 55 years, who has stood by her through every challenge. In a world of fleeting fame, Susan has managed to remain relevant, showcasing that with determination, one can indeed turn life's lemons into a legacy. Thank you for watching.